Welcome to 10 o'clock. It's Soup and Meatballs time. Is there any better time during the week, Tim?
The only time better than Soup and Meatballs time is around noon on Thursday, the first day of the tournament. That's one of the best days of the year.
Unless you're in the middle of accounting class.
You know, we all had that cool teacher who was like, look, if you don't tell the principal, we can put on CBS. No one has to know. This will be our one shining moment. We'll put it on mute.
So what game? I don't know if we could find the schedule online. Back in 1996, on that Thursday, what was the first game? Because there was only one game on.
Right.
I don't know. And would we want? I guess anything beats, Jimmy Saheda's class. But what game are you getting?
I remember distinctly. I don't know what game it was, but I remember Mr. Natara would always put on the tournament, like in accounting class.
The only memory I have of anything like non-curriculum related was when the OJ verdict came down and Mr. Connolly turned on the radio for it was really for 5 minutes, and the verdict came down. He turned it off and he said, "Well, that's that. Back to X equals." I'm like, what are you talking about? This massive event just happened, and you're going back to trigonometry. What's wrong with you? Now, I wanted to put it on, but our smart boards, we don't get streaming networks, and I don't subscribe to it. So I tried putting on YouTube, and there was this hacked site that came up that had the thumbs up emoji over top of the screen. Yeah. But you got but I could hear it.
Right.
My kids were working anyway. So I'm like, all right, guys, you work and then you can listen at the same time. And I think it was Ohio State TCU. I think that was the game that was Thursday. I think that was
that was the first game. That was the 12:15 on Thursday.
So were you, do you get a chance to watch while you work?
Yeah. I
don't get yourself in trouble. His boss would be like, I thought that report was supposed to be coming in.
Especially if I'm doing something sort of monotonous, like stat keeping or something like that, I can have that on in the background and then look up if I hear something exciting.
That's cool.
But it's I'm certainly able to follow on my phone. I have the tournament app.
I was on the ES. So my ES, you have the actual tournament app.
Yeah, you can watch the CBS game. I can anyway.
You know what? No. Now I remember. Yeah, that's a thing. I don't think I could do it from school. But when I was home, on my home Verizon, whatever Comcast network, yeah, I remember being able to watch on my iPad. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was able to watch I could watch whatever game on my TV, like the True TV or TBS or TNT game, and then whatever the CBS game was, I could have on my phone, or I could just follow along live updates.
Excellent. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the benefits of these cool mobile technologies. Well, let's get into it. I mean, we're kind of talking about the NCAA tournament. Feels like a good place to start the show. We started March Madness on Thursday, and I'm showing my complete lack of college basketball knowledge in our bracket, in the Chris Palermo bracket. I'm 12th right now. You're 9th. I don't know if you knew that. You're 20 points ahead of me. But I think both of our Final Fours are still intact. Have you checked yours?
Mine is still intact. We both have Michigan winning it all.
Yeah.
And
I had Michigan over UConn. You had Michigan over Houston?
Yes.
Okay. Houston's in a big game today. I think that's one of the better games today on the schedule. But looking back, let's kind of start in round one here. Biggest news out of round one was Jerry McNamara's Siena team almost knocked out Duke. They had an 11-point lead on this one.
The biggest deficit Duke's had all season. They were down 13 to Siena.
Was it 13? I thought it was only 11, but still, that's crazy.
It was 11 at the half, but the lead was as big as 13.
Jeez.
And also, Duke won by 20 last night, but Duke didn't look great last night either, to be honest.
I saw them in the first. I didn't see the second half, and that's when they pulled away. Boozer looked probably a lot better in the second half. Yeah, I didn't like TCU's chances at the beginning, but they played a tough. They played a game first half. I'll give them that.
TCU was the victim of some bad officiating in the second half. And I say that as someone who has Duke in my Final Four. Duke was the beneficiary of some, shaky officiating.
You will get that from time to time.
But this is to say we have not seen Duke's best in either of the first two rounds.
Oh, I don't know.
Sweet 16.
I don't know if Duke's injury situation is going to be fixed by the Sweet 16. They had they have one of the big men out.
Yeah, right? I forget his name. It's like I don't want to mangle his name, but
a starting figure down on the blocks is out, and
right. And he did play last night. He came in about like 5 or 6 minutes into the game. And they talked a little about, what was his, was he going to have his wind? Was he going to have any rust to his offensive game? And he didn't look at his best, but he was on the floor off and on last night.
They get the Thursday matchup this week against either Kansas or St. John's. So if you looking at bracket wise, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, my East bracket was pretty good. I picked Ohio State over TCU because I went with the Big Ten, but I got every other first round game correct, largely because the East is very chalky. Yeah. It's almost exactly chalky, except for that 9-8 upset. So Duke doesn't have a potential easy route to the Final Four. They've got to get through either Kansas or St. John's.
Well, they're in the toughest bracket.
Down at the other end, Michigan State looked really good against Louisville. I didn't see Michigan State, North Dakota State, but you didn't need to see that. Michigan State advances. They'll take on either UCLA or UConn.
Yeah.
If UConn wins that, we've got a potential 1, 2, 3, 4 region out east.
UCLA and UConn will give America a chance to try to decide which coach they hate the most.
Oh,
because neither one is great.
Well,
depending on your rooting interest, but
I don't mind Danny Hurley as much as you do.
I cannot stand him.
Oh, that's good stuff. So, do you know what your East bracket looked like? Did you? I'm not going to open yours up here. Although maybe I can here. Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
You're currently on your phone here. Let me see if I can.
I am. I just know I had Duke coming out. I didn't have UConn. I think I want to say I might have had Duke, Kansas in the Elite Eight.
You have Duke over St. John's, and then Michigan State over Connecticut.
Can't be Duke, Kansas. That would be a Sweet 16 matchup, a 1-4.
Yeah, you have the regional final. You have Duke over Michigan State, and I'll tell you what. The thing with Michigan State, they either lose in the first round or they make the Final Four.
Yeah,
they're kind of amazing. Even as a 7 seed, it's hard when you put your bracket together and say, "Well, this is Michigan State. They're a 7 seed." Doesn't matter. It's Tom Izzo and it's March.
Yeah, this is a 17th different team that he's taken to the Sweet 16, which
amazing. Yeah,
it's not easy, especially before NIL, because we're seeing, this has been, and last year too, like you'd said, a very chalky kind of tournament. But when upsets were a little more prevalent, it's not a given that you're going to survive the first week.
No. Well, let's go down south. Where how is this even possible? Nebraska has been playing Division I sports for 875 years. This year, they won their first NCAA basketball tournament game, and they followed it up with another one, a lucky one against Vandy. But they won their first one. How's that possible?
Well, because now their coach is the mayor, Fred Hoiberg.
But you would think that any Division I school would just kind of like lucky to a win from.
You would think so. But did you get to see any of that Nebraska Vandy game?
I saw the final 2 seconds, the heave at 3/4 court or whatever it is.
You can't throw a buzzer beater 70-footer that is any closer to going. I've seen screenshots where it like the ball is 2/3 of the way down, like through the rim before it kind of rattles out. And watching it in real time, I almost fell out of my chair. Like that is what everyone who's like, oh, we should just we shouldn't have mid majors and not that Vandy's a mid major.
Yeah, Vandy's not a
power conference, but
sure.
But when people argue that it should be just like power schools or whatever, it's like I watch the tournament for things like that. I watch for someone like Chase Johnston from High Point, who hadn't hit a 2-point basket all season. He was 0 for 4 from 2 until he gets a breakaway layup to beat Wisconsin. That's why I watched the tournament.
How do you let a guy get behind you like that? That's like,
well, it was off a crazy
back 101.
It was a crazy rebound, and Johnston, off the rebound, just broke down floor so that when the rebound came to High Point, they just heaved it to him at about
perfect pass,
20 feet from the basket,
cool
and
play.
He took at least 3 steps.
Did he?
You can say he took like 1 step to gather, fine, but then he took another 3. You can tell he doesn't shoot many layups.
In the layup line, he's like, "What am I doing here?"
Yeah, wait, I have to dribble. They don't make me do this behind the 3-point line. I just set my feet. I didn't know that was illegal.
Yeah,
learn.
So, some other cool stuff from down south. So, first of all, like we said, it feels chalky. If you look every bracket, the 8 seed lost. Everyone. So, in the South, we have the 9 over the 8. You had VCU over North Carolina in a really cool comeback overtime win, but then Illinois took them out, so they're gone.
And I did have them. I had North Carolina losing in the first round, which didn't look so great when they were up 19.
No. And I'm looking at you. There you go. That's why you're Mr. Smarty Pants. You also took VCU over Illinois. That was, oops. But how about the cool thing in this region? I think we're a Florida win away from another 1, 2, 3, 4. But did you see the kid that Florida has? This freshman.
Yeah, 7'9".
Oliver Ryu, 7'9", and he's built proportionally. The dude's 305 pounds.
Yeah.
His foot. I looked it up. He's a Canadian kid. Went to IMG Academy, so he's right down in Florida's neighborhood. He was only a 3-star prospect coming out of high school, though.
Yeah, so, I've seen some video of him in high school, just like layup line stuff, where it was like, "Look at this kid." Look
at him. He's 7'9".
Yeah, I think Florida just took a flyer on him because they were like, with that height, we can maybe develop him.
The knock on him was his footwork. And, I mean, you have a kid who's 12 years old and 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
You were kind of gangly and clumsy at 12. I'm gangly and clumsy now. So, well, I'm not no gangly. What am I talking about? But, like, at that age, if you're not working on footwork, it's hard to develop. So, I mean, I hope the kids, coaches at Florida, work with him. The problem is the way the game is played. Is a 7'9" guy super valuable when you can just shoot threes all day?
I think we saw, and we see it with Mara at Michigan, Zach Edey at Purdue. There's still room, even if just defensively and rebounding wise, for a big man in certainly the college game. I think the college game.
I don't know how you can guard him down low. He could be like Shaq if they used him right.
Right. Yeah. I think we. I think we could still see in college like a classic back to the basket, big man. It's certainly not going to be like, 1992 where we're going to see the first 3 picks.
Shaq.
Shaq, Mourning, and Leitner. But there's still room for it in the game.
All right. Well, let's So Midwest now, our boys over in Michigan, there's no seed upsets. The 9 over the 8. St. Louis does their job, but then Michigan wipes them out. And another potential 1, 2, 3, 4 region. We're going to see what Alabama does with Texas Tech, what Virginia and Tennessee does, and Kentucky had an exciting game with Santa Clara. They'll take on the high-scoring Cyclones from Iowa State. I still like Michigan in this bracket. I think that aside from the first half of the Howard game, I mean, if you look at the final score of the Howard game, it's like, yeah, they won by 21.
Only
Howard was hanging in. Howard was hanging in, and they couldn't miss. Like, they had a stretch where they had, like, it felt like they hit 7 threes in a row.
Yeah, but
they played a really
this is what Michigan does is they go on like a 16-3 run or something like that. Like it's really tough to sustain what Howard was doing in the first half, and Michigan is just so deep and so talented that they were able to just overcome them. So, I mean, same thing yesterday where Michigan didn't necessarily have a great first half but ended up cruising.
That's what the St. Louis coach said after the game. He basically commented on. They have more depth. They just come at you in waves, and whereas Jerry McNamara played 5 kids the whole game against Duke, Michigan you can't do that against a team like Michigan. So Michigan to the Sweet 16, relatively easy.
Iowa State scares me though. I think Iowa State is they were a top 8, top 6 team for a good portion of the season.
That's future Michigan's problem.
Yes,
that's down the line. Where is the regional final being played in the Midwest?
I don't know. I don't know any of those sites really.
It's got to be closer to Michigan than Iowa, so we'll take that as a relative advantage. And then out west, this is where things get a little crazy. A little, not a lot, but a little. You've got your 9 over the 8, but then High Point, I think, they were the popular 12-5 upset pick. There's always one, and all of the experts or so they said High Point was going to win, and for that reason, I didn't pick them. My bad. But Arkansas took them out. High Point hung in with Arkansas, but not enough. And then the other seed upset, I guess, was the 11 over Gonzaga. Texas knocks out Gonzaga in the second round.
Team.
But it's still Texas, though. It doesn't feel like Wichita State knocking out Gonzaga.
Right. This isn't. Yeah. It's not like.
But like you said, a 21-14 team. They're 7 games over 500.
Right, and beating Gonzaga was their 3rd win of the week. To even get this far. So like that's a story. But yeah, I mean, it's a school from a power conference with pedigree and a coach in Sean Miller who's been there before.
So they'll get the winner of the first game today. Miami-Purdue opens up tournament play in about hour 55 minutes or so. I don't know if Purdue is a legitimate 2 seed. You had them as a 3 last week, but their win over Michigan, I think, put them in the 2 hole. And they played Queens. We don't know a lot about them this bracket. Miami could give them some problems, but I still like Purdue to go on.
Despite what we've seen, I still think the Big Ten has been the power conference, even though they've had a bit of a mixed run here in the first 2 rounds. And I think Purdue being the Big Ten tournament champion, I think that's, as big a feather in their cap as, any team can claim to. Obviously, great point guard play because their point guard just passed Bobby Hurley as the career assist leader in NCAA history. Purdue's just a really solid team, and Matt Painter's a really good coach.
There they are. So a win gets them into a Sweet 16 matchup with Texas, and then potentially a date with either Arizona or Arkansas. So as far as our brackets go, you are slightly in the lead, but I look at my other brackets. My school did one. I am ranked 38 out of 51, which is not good. I really needed Duke to lose to Siena because all the people ahead of me picked Duke to win it all. They're one of the popular teams.
It's funny because even though I had Duke or have Duke in my Final Four, unless it's Michigan, unless I have a personal rooting interest, I will always, always, always root for the upset.
Yeah,
Like,
so will I.
Jerry McNamara being a Scranton guy, you know,
Just a 16 over a 1. That's just cool to see.
yeah, like the High Point Wisconsin game, I was immediately a High Point fan. Just you always root for those double-digit seeds.
So that reminds me, the radio show I listen to in the morning has a host named Evan Cohen. I listened to Evan Cohen way back when he was on Mad Dog Sports Radio. I actually called in. I talked to him a couple times. So Evan Cohen was on the ESPN morning radio show now. And he's like, he wants the top 8 teams in the Elite 8, but he wants all the upsets at the same time. I'm the exact opposite. I kind of want a Butler, Wichita State.
Yeah, I love seeing like a George Mason.
George Mason and Michigan Final Four. Give me that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I love when you get that oddball team that gets to the Elite 8 and everyone's like, are we really going to look at St. Peter's going to the Final Four? Like,
we're going to get chalk again this year. That's fine. I remember I'm sitting there watching the game last night. I honestly forget what game it was. What was the late game? Not Troy, Nebraska. What was the other one? Was it Illinois? Maybe I was watching.
Arkansas High Point was a late game.
No. I mean last night.
Yeah, last night.
Okay, that's not the one. Let me go back to the schedule.
Yeah, Arkansas and High Point were playing at like.
Yeah, you're right. It must have been Nebraska Vanderbilt. I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, legitimately, if this was not an NCAA tournament game, I wouldn't watch this.
Right.
But because of where we are in the calendar year, yeah, I think I will watch a little of this.
And it's amazing how something that you might not have watched, in January, you not only watch in March, but like you're an instant expert where you're like, oh, this point guard is fantastic. He takes too many ill-advised threes.
I definitely know my limitations in terms of expertise. If you look at today's schedule, there is only 3 games that have betting lines in double digits. You have Florida over Iowa, 10.5. Arizona over Utah State, 11.5. They're both 1 versus 9 games.
And then you have two ones who cruised in the first round, and Florida put a historic beating on their 16.
Oh, and I'm not going to count this other one because it's Auburn, Seattle. That's the NIT. I'm just looking at the lines right now. So, like most of the games today, if you are a college basketball fan, this should be a good day for you. Maybe one of the more exciting days in March Madness history. And that's my little segue to, I saw this picture on, I don't know, one social media thing, and it listed its opinion, the top 10 most exciting March Madness games in history. So they give you a list of 10. Do you want to care to guess some of them? Because it's not your list, but I bet you can get a couple.
Well, Duke, Kentucky, the Leitner game has to be on there.
It's number 2. And I think it's only number 2 because of the regional final aspect of it. They have a final above it.
Yeah, I'd say Villanova, Carolina.
That was their number. That was their number 1.
Duke Butler, probably the Gordon Hayward half quarter.
Duke Butler is number 6.
Houston, NC State in '83.
That's number 3. Look at you. This should be your list. You're crushing this list. I'm like, I just thought we'd talk about some of these because I remembered some of them.
That Duke UConn final, that Khalid El-Amin team.
Oh, they don't have that here.
Okay. There's probably a bias towards like more recent.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go through some of it because they had Super Nintendo Chalmers in 2008 in Kansas over Memphis. The Bryce Drew shot that you talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
The 13 over the 4. They in 2021 Gonzaga versus UCLA in overtime, and they had Virginia over Purdue.
Yeah, the overtime.
And then UConn Duke in '99.
That's what I said. UConn Duke, the Khalid El-Amin team.
Oh, well, yeah. Like I said, it was
Richard
on the
Hamilton,
list.
Khalid El-Amin. Yeah.
Like I said, it's on the list. They're on the wrong list though. Good deal. Real quick, in terms of Division II, IUP is still alive in the women's bracket. They knocked off Winston-Salem last Monday, 65-64. Nisha Weaver had a double-double, 25 and 12. Teresa Maggio, Maren Miller, Ellie Wilkinson, solid games. In the Elite Eight for the fourth time in history, IUP is. The first time was 99 when I was there. That was the Beth McDonald, Jody Frederick team. And in 2018 and 2019 after that. So now they've got a game against Holy Family. Holy Family is the 7 seed out of the East region. They knocked off their number 1 seed by 10 points. And, I mean, anybody who knocks out a 1 by double digits, I worry about. I had to look them up. I didn't know where Holy Family was. Do you have any idea where Holy Family is?
My first guess would be Bethlehem.
It's close to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, but not quite.
Okay.
A little further east and south.
Philly?
They're close to Philly, yeah. So this game is in Pittsburgh. So they're both going to get on the bus, but IUP's bus trip will be a little bit shorter. So I'm out here doing a little media scouting. So I know what I'm talking about. And I'm looking up the Holy Family team. And what's usually the first thing I look at is how tall they are. So the starting 5 for Holy Family, here we go. Kalia Carter's 5'7". Skylar Searfoss, 5'8". Everybody else is taller than me. Taylor Hinkle, 5'10". Karen Meredith, 6 foot. And Claire Doherty, the accounting major from Lake Lehman High School, 6'1".
Hey, Lake Lehman.
Yes. So, and she's an accounting kid. They have 3 accounting kids on
home
the
of the
roster.
black turf. The completely
really?
impractical black turf.
Oh God, that must be brutal in June.
Their football
July.
team. They have a black turf field.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting tackled on that in August?
No.
Just the burns on your arms.
I'm also very old. I can't get tackled anywhere.
Oh my God. Getting up out of bed's a trauma.
Let me Lake Lehman Black. I got to see this field. Oh wow.
Yeah, it just looks like pavement.
All right, it kind of looks cool though.
For 2 seconds, and then you're like, "Wait, we're gonna play on this?" I'm
not going to play on it, but that's a cool looking field.
You know what's not cool? The blue turf at Boise State.
They have like the stands. You could fill this field.
Because no one wants to watch a game on that stuff.
I guess, and there's no parking whatsoever. That's terrible.
The field looks like a parking lot. They probably just thought they had the parking taken care of. It's black and it has lines. It's a parking lot.
Sure. It does have a really cool field hockey setup where you can actually see the lines, or maybe that's the cross. But yeah, enough of that. I hope if IUP wins, they move on to the Final Four. That'd be the first time in team history. The second time in team history. They made the Final Four one other time. And then the men, they lost a tough game to Gannon. They had a halftime lead, but they had 17 turnovers in the second half, came back to bite them. So IUP drops the men, but the women are still alive. Go IUP. Right?
I'll say, yeah, go IUP. Love to see the PSAC succeed.
All right. Pro basketball, and I'll tell you what, over the last week, because of all the college basketball, I haven't really paid too much attention. Not that I pay a lot of attention to the NBA anyway. We've got 3 weeks left till I start to say, okay, here we go. But we have 3 teams already in the playoffs, and we have 5 teams already eliminated from the playoffs. Going in right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are healthy, and they're hot. So last week we were talking about San Antonio at this time. San Antonio is just as hot if you look at the last 10. The West looks tough again. What has changed this week that we didn't talk about last week, if anything?
Well, Cade Cunningham in the East, has a punctured lung, and he's going to miss maybe the rest of the regular season. So, we'll see, A, what that does for the Pistons if they lose that top seed, but B, what his availability will be like going into the playoffs, if they're going to hold him out for an opening round, what his condition will be when he does come back. That's probably the biggest NBA news of the week.
Detroit would get the 8th seed, which would be how does the play-in tournament has 9, 10, 11, 12. Do they reseed those guys?
Yeah.
So say the 12 team gets in, they would play Detroit.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Your options there, Charlotte, which I mean,
they're
Charlotte.
hot.
They're. I don't think anybody wants to play them. Miami, they could be dangerous, but over a 7-game series, I don't know.
They're very
Orlando
down,
and
but
Philly.
They're well coached. Eric Spoelstra always has them dangerous.
And you have Orlando and Philly. I don't think there's much to worry about there if you're Detroit, but your star player.
Philly's an interesting one, depending on Embiid's health, and Philly can be feisty when you've got Maxey, is a 30-point guy. Embiid has had a really strong season. I don't know that there's a team that necessarily wants to see Philly in the playoffs. Not saying Philly will have a run, but they could be dangerous.
What's Embiid's health like?
He
day to day with an oblique.
This season he's probably played out of, let's say Philly's played 70 games. I'd say Embiid's probably played 45 games if I had to guess.
Okay, I mean it's probably average for him.
And he's putting up 20 some odd points a night, and double digit rebounds when he's out there. He's
a great player when he plays. It's the ability you worry about with him.
Yeah.
Last week we talked. Lakers and Houston had a big back-to-back game series that the Lakers looked really good, and right now the Lakers are getting hot, and it's kind of because LeBron James has taken a step back and he's taken on a new role. It feels like he's like the new Draymond Green in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Luka had 60 the other night, and I think it's like you said. I think LeBron has had to realize this team is better when I'm not the focal point. And so he's kind of had to shift into more of a facilitator role. Like the night that Luka had his 60, LeBron had a triple-double, and that's, I mean, the man's in his 40s, it takes some humility to realize you're not the guy anymore.
Joe Frazier's 127 years old.
You're there to set up the guy now. And, if LeBron has accepted that role, I think they're very dangerous. They've won, 9 or 10 in a row? They won at the buzzer against Orlando last night.
9-game winning streak with you'd call it a huge game against Detroit tomorrow. They're on the road against Detroit. What do they have to finish off the season? I mean, the Houston games were the big games in terms of playoff seeding. They've got 2 more with Oklahoma City.
And the game against Denver last Saturday when they beat Denver in overtime.
Yeah. Reeves had the big day there. Now, if you look at the Lakers rest of the way out, they've got like a 2 with Oklahoma City, a game with Cleveland, and then Golden State, and then a bunch of games they're going to win.
Right.
By
Golden
a
State,
lot.
who knows what Golden State's even going to be putting on the floor. Because obviously Butler's been gone with the ACL. Steph's been hurt for most of the second half. You're really looking at a scenario where the Lakers could be a 3 seed or maybe no worse than a 4 seed.
I think they didn't quite lock in the 3 seed, but those the 2 wins against Houston really help.
Yeah.
I would feel pretty confident. They've got a 2.5 game lead over Houston. in 3 weeks with the way the Lakers' schedule is, I think it's going to be hard for Houston to catch them. We'll see, though. That's why you play the games.
And it's funny because the Lakers seemed like a bit of an also-ran. I still don't think they're quite at the level of a San Antonio or an Oklahoma City, but they're definitely dangerous.
Over 7, it would be fun to see LA and San Antonio, or LA and Oklahoma City, I think. I'm going back right now. They've been fairly consistent throughout they've had 1 3-game losing streak, 2 3-game losing. They've had 3 3-game losing streaks. That's it. But they've had a bevy of good winning streaks in there too. That's 7. There's 5. They're currently on a 9. So they can get hot. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know about where the Knicks are. The Knicks have won 5 straight, and that's nice. But they can't catch
3. Yeah,
they can't catch Boston because Boston's also won 4 straight. This week, how has Tatum looked to you?
I mean, he's continued to look really good. I think it's almost surprising how he hasn't seemed to miss a beat, but also hasn't seemed to disrupt what Jaylen Brown's been doing, because Jaylen Brown's been having big games. He had another big one against Memphis the other night when the Celtics got hot in the fourth quarter. And, I think as much as, Tatum's game looking strong, I think the fact that he hasn't disrupted the chemistry is huge.
That's the big one. I mean, if the standings worked out right as they are right now, and Boston is the 2 seed, they would face the Philadelphia 76ers, provided they win their 7 seed.
Which would be an interesting series. I think
the one team you don't want to see.
Yeah, I think the Celtics win it, but I don't think it's a cakewalk.
And I bring that up because the Knicks would play the Hawks, who normally I would say, okay, that's fine, but the Hawks have won. Was it 11 in a row or something like that before they lost to Houston?
I will say they did win 11 in a row, but it was a pretty soft 11 in a row. As soft as an 11-game winning streak can be. They didn't really beat quality competition.
Utah, Washington, Indiana.
Yeah.
Back-to-back with Sacramento. It's still, when you see 11 in a row, it stands out to you. So I don't know.
I think the Knicks could very likely sweep Atlanta. I think Atlanta, if you look at the history of double-digit win streaks in NBA history, I think this 11-game win streak that the Hawks had is among the worst in NBA history.
Weak sauce. NBA history. All right.
You're talking about a Sacramento team, a Washington team that are actively.
I just threw out. I don't know if they actually beat those teams. I just threw out bad teams.
Okay. I know that they had. Can we find who they beat in this 11-game streak? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the best win they had was maybe against Orlando.
Let's see. Atlanta's schedule. Yeah, if it was the teams I pulled out, that would be rough. All right. Oh, so Brooklyn, pair of Washingtons, Portland, and Milwaukee. They did beat Philadelphia.
Okay.
Dallas, Brooklyn, Milwaukee again. A 12-point win against Orlando.
Brooklyn's a team that's actively tanking. Washington's one of the worst teams in the league.
And Washington just gave up 97 points to Bam Adebayo. They're not playing anymore.
Portland's having a rough second half. They were a surprise team at the All-Star break, but having a rough second half.
Then they have Dallas as well.
And another team that, Cooper Flag is fun to watch, but Dallas has also been, look, Dallas isn't going to be in the playoffs.
Houston took them to the woodshed, then 22-point win in Houston.
So, yeah, I mean.
that is a pretty sad 11-game winning streak.
Right. I mean, look, it's the NBA, any given night, blah, blah, blah. But
don't give me that.
The Nets are actively they're almost shooting in the other team's basket. Like they're actively
they're out here they have a new promotion. You can be on the court.
Like I would like to see the Nets and the Kings play. Just they would be like, "You take the ball." No, you take the ball.
Are you in section 305, row H, seat 6? You are in the starting lineup.
I can't play. I have a heart condition. Even better. We'd suggest you don't run, even if you don't have a heart condition. Take it easy.
That's NBA basketball at its finest. That is what they used to say back in the 90s. It is fantastic. There it is. Speaking of fantastic, let's move on to baseball, and I'm going to start with you in Miami, the World Baseball Classic. And I have to go slow there because when they have WBC, it always reminds me of the board game convention I go to, the World Board Gaming Championships. So like the World Baseball Classic. Yeah.
I think Americans might care more about the board game convention.
Well, on the professional side, yeah, you are not wrong. As Venezuela pulls out a 3-2 win over the United States in the bottom of the ninth, Bryce Harper finally realized he was playing maybe a meaningful game. It's a 2-run home run, but then in the top of the ninth, you get a walk, a steal, which was a close steal, by the way, if you saw the highlights. And then Eugenio Suarez's rocket shot to left center brings home the eventual game-winning run. And at the end of the game, there were a bunch of questions about how much the Americans really care about this. The way
how much you have to honor the Padres.
And like why the closer wasn't on the mound in the ninth because the Padres said so. So
yeah, in a tie game, they weren't going to put the hottest closer, the best closer, and it's to honor the Padres. You know, if they'd had a lead, they would have played him, but otherwise, he wasn't coming in.
So I mean, let's start with Venezuela. They won, and
yeah, take nothing from them. Their first WBC win. You know, it's all all respect to them. You know, they won it outright. You know,
last week I said this. The U.S. Dominican Republic felt like the Yankees Red Sox in 2003, and I said, watch whoever wins Venezuela Italy come around and win this, and that's
sure enough.
I wonder if Venezuela DR would have been different. I wonder if the Dominican Republic would have. Not that the U.S. didn't care, but like, man, it just didn't feel like it felt like this was an imposition.
Yeah, it just felt like don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt. Whatever, even down to like, and so much has been made about not knowing if you were even through pool play.
We're gonna make it.
Does this one count?
Oh wait,
do we
not
care
going to make it.
Yeah. No, and that's what happens when you play, the classic before the season. You have
there
to
has
take,
been talks
arm
now.
health and player health into account.
Pitch counts. There's been talk. I saw an article that Rob Manfred was talking about the potential now to move this to the middle of the season. The ratings were great. Attendance was great. Does moving this to the middle of the regular season make sense?
I think it's even worse because players don't want to get hurt for a potential second half, postseason, chance to, secure a playoff spot or win a division. I think it would be even worse in the middle of the season in terms of motivation. I
would agree. I think that the organizers of the WBC are in a no-win situation. Where it is now, you're getting spring training effort, at least from what you would consider to be the best players or whatever. You get Tariq Skubal saying, I'm good. I'm going to go save my arm for my $400 million contract.
If you play it in November, everyone's tired. No one wants to go, probably.
No, exactly. So I don't – and if you put it in the middle of the season, I think you're going to have – the same kind of situation and this was a 2 week little thing they've got going. What happens to the players who are not in the WBC?
Yeah,
like taking 2 weeks off in the middle of the year is crazy.
Yeah,
unless you're on the injured list. So I thought it was fun to watch. I watched more of the WBC this year than I had 4 years ago. I like the concept of it, and honestly, I can get past the fact that it's basically spring training baseball. It's advanced spring training.
Yeah,
Aaron Judge is in postseason form, kinda. If you look at the box score, if you look at the highlights, 2 of his 3 strikeouts were like they might have been ABS challenges. I don't know.
It's it's fun for what it is. I enjoy what I watch of it. I don't feel compelled to watch a lot of pool play. Until they get out of pool play, I watch a little more.
Pool
It's
play to
never
me
going
feels
to-
like conference championships, like Michigan, Purdue in the Big Ten. Okay, then if we lose, we're still a 1 seed. Who cares?
Yeah, and it's never going to be what it was pitched as, which was the baseball version of the World Cup.
Yeah,
Because you're not getting you're not getting World Cup effort. You're not getting like World Cup national pride. Made the stakes of the major league season because of the money involved are always going to be more important than the WBC.
Which reminds me, I don't know who said it, but they said the World Baseball Classic final was a bigger deal than the World Series. And
Maybe the guys in
I think
Venezuela.
I think maybe Derek Jeter said, well, they've never played in the World Series. But somebody then came out and said, well, Derek Jeter's never played in WBC final. So I don't know. It's whatever your cup of tea is, I guess. Yeah, the whole national pride thing for Venezuela, you take on the big team and you win. That's something to hang your hat on.
Yeah, and I think we saw it with, certainly with Italy, where it wasn't a star-studded roster, but they were how close to going to the final.
The American B team from Jersey we talked about.
Yeah, they were ready to pack up their espresso machine and take it to the final with them.
Almost. So now that the WBC is over, I thought we had an extra week, but spoiler alert, we don't. Did you know Major League Baseball opens this Wednesday?
Yeah, I think is it on Netflix? I think
Yes, and this is, I have an issue with this. It's the Yankees at the Giants. Now, first of all, I love the fact that the Yankees are opening out west. You get one of the West Coast trips out of the way, and you do it outside of right out of spring training. You get like an extra travel day. That's great. I love it. However, in no world should the Yankees and Giants be playing on Wednesday. That game should be whoever the Dodgers are playing, and it should be in Los Angeles. It's the one thing the NFL does well,
and
among other things.
and
but
it
the
should be
Super
on
Bowl
a Sunday
champ
night.
opens. Well, it's whenever it opens is fine.
It should
I
be
like
a showcase event to start your season if you're one of the major 4 sports leagues in North America. And the fact that people are like, wait, the season starts? Like, we're fans. And the fact that we're like, oh, yeah, the season does start. No, yeah. Where's it showing? Where is it on TV or what? Is it
I knew it's on Netflix because it's the Yankees. But no, seriously, if you are I don't know, whoever the Dodgers are playing, let's say the Dodgers are opening with San Diego, Los Angeles on a Sunday up against an NCAA regional final. I don't mind it being Wednesday. That's fine. Like NFL opens on a Thursday, but it should be whoever won the World Series gets to throw the party. Have a concert on Wednesday.
I agree with that.
Do the whole thing. So like then opening day, actual opening day as we celebrate it is Thursday for the world to see. That's one of my favorite days of the sports year, and I'm still stuck at school. But
I mean, and we've talked about how ESPN doesn't seem to really care that much about baseball anymore. Obviously, it doesn't seem like
they canceled
baseball.
Sunday night.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like baseball cares about baseball anymore. That they're so lackadaisical about how they're rolling out the sport. Like opening day should have the kind of like you talk about, like the NFL like opening in Brazil, and it's a big deal. Like we talk about the opening of the NCAA tournament, and we can't wait for it to start. That's how Major League Baseball opening day should feel.
I still like opening day. It just kind of snuck up on me. A lot of things sneak up on me nowadays. I'm old and I'm losing my faculties, I think.
I thought you were going to say hair.
Well, it's
actually
south. Yeah, a little bit. I won't make you pull out any predictions. I wrote down the kind of people the teams I think are going to be in the playoffs. You have to look at what Toronto did in the offseason, coming off a year where they were this close from winning a World Series. I would take Toronto in the East. Detroit, you put Skubal on the mound for 30 starts.
Who knows what you're getting in the Central, though? The Central is such a toss-up. I mean, Kansas City could win the Central.
Yeah, like Bobby Witt. No, I would still take Detroit. And out west, I don't think it's going to be close. I think Seattle runs away.
Yeah.
But as far as the playoffs go,
do the A's know where they're playing? Are we in Sacramento this year, guys?
I don't know where they're going to. That's a good question. They're playing in Venezuela somewhere. But I wondered aloud, though, could this be a year where 80% of the AL East makes the playoffs? Could New York, Boston, and Baltimore make? Because I liked Baltimore last year. I don't hate them this year.
I think for Boston, it depends what they get from Roman Anthony, because they have to replace some of the production they lose from Bregman leaving.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on the durability of Sonny Gray and Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, but that's why I like Boston. You have a three-headed monster at the top of the rotation. I like Boston more than I haven't looked up what Picota says. You know what? We have a chance to. What does Picota say about Boston? They hate you, 82 and 79, but they have you fourth. But they you are percentage points behind Baltimore, so that's not even a coin flip. It's what did you eat for breakfast this morning? New York and Baltimore tied, 88.5.
Yeah,
that hinges a lot on Garrett Cole's health. If Garrett Cole's healthy, New York might win the division.
Should we do our predictions for next week's show then?
Yeah. Let's officially do it next week. I'll let you look some stuff up. I will tell you, I saw a prediction somewhere that has the Pittsburgh Pirates in the playoffs.
I picked Pittsburgh to win the Central last year, if you remember, and they were terrible.
Did you? No, I don't remember last year.
Yeah. I don't. I was like, I think they can put something together behind Skeens. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to win the Central.
Yeah. Well,
smarty pants.
Something to think about next week. I think you just made the Pittsburgh list.
They made my list first. So how about that?
You're on one another's list.
Pay your players ownership.
I have a very personal list today that might not make a lot of sense to people, but I am
as opposed to your rant against LG TVs last week.
Well, people know LG; they know that.
Okay.
What you might not know is I am the radio station manager for 92.7 WEMR Trojan Radio here in Chambersburg.
WEMR.
It's the high school radio station. And I am trying to build up the music library as it is. I mean, there's thousands of songs on our system, but I've kind of advanced into, like, they used to play 70s and 80s. Now I'm pulling some of the 90s in because regardless of what we think, it's still the 40 years ago. Gulp. So I pull out. I don't have one handy here. Oh, you know what? Maybe. Yeah, here it is. Remember this?
CD?
CD. So in order to take a music file from a CD, play it on the radio, we have to digitize it, which means I run it through a computer and I rip it and I have an MP3. Well, we talked a couple weeks ago about how Microsoft has taken their database of songs off, and I had to go to iTunes. Well, making the list this week, not necessarily iTunes, but the updated iTunes, which has now frozen my computer on my smartboard, and I can't rip CDs anymore. Stupid iTunes. You just made the list.
This you just made the list is just we should just rename it Old Man Hates Technology. And why are toasters so complicated? 4 slices? I don't need that many carbs.
So I have to see if so I'm on the laptop right now. If the desktop here has access to old iTunes, I can't go back to it either. I can't like revert iTunes, which is even more stupid to me. Maybe there's a way. I don't know. If you know of a way that I can go back to iTunes, write in. Let me know.
What kind of? I'm curious. With the you said you were playing 70s and 80s. Was there any feedback for 70s music? Like where people are like, "Oh, I really love that Mungo Jerry you were playing."
Oh no! So the station actually, it started a long time ago. A guy named Mr. Barrier was running it, and he kind of set the station flow as 70s and 80s yacht rock, because locally there wasn't anything like that being played. Top 40 is too hard to keep up with. He wasn't playing country or anything like that, so it actually got good feedback. And I said, look, if the wheel's spinning, why am I going to change the direction? Things work. I started adding I added a 90s at 9 feature. The students in my radio production class, they put shows together, a 60-minute time block. So they play some wild stuff. But hang on for a minute here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Cool. I'm getting all kinds of feedback. I don't know if the audio on this computer is not good. I've got to figure that out for the show, man, because stuff to talk about, and it's messing up my ears. No, so
audio on the list.
The Intel Evo Dell Inspiron computer, they're on the list next week. Old man,
they're on notice. They know.
Old man yells at technology. There it is. All right, quick hitter time. And oh my gosh, this is not quick. There's like 9 of them.
What?
Yeah, here we go. Number 1. One last March Madness blurb for you. Shout out to the Lady Royals from Scranton. They made the D3 finals.
National title game.
They dropped a tough one at Denison. They finished 32-1. Shout out Scranton.
Yeah, the Electric City.
Number 2, as I was scouting Holy Family, the women's basketball team, did you know that Holy Family also has a women's bowling team? I think there should be more college. I think there should be more college bowling. What do you think?
I would have I wouldn't have been good, but I would have tried out for my college bowling team.
I'm not sure you would have made the women's bowling team, but if it was co-ed, maybe.
I almost certainly not.
No,
unless it was like a Rodney Dangerfield Ladybug situation. I probably wouldn't look good in drag.
Probably not. Number 3. Earlier this week, the WNBA signing a historic collective bargaining agreement. According to Spot Track, Caitlin Clark would have earned just a shade under $86,000 in her 3rd year. In 2026, still a year away from free agency, right? Now her salary is $530,000. And how much she makes beyond that is really dependent on the new league revenue sharing. Her salary could be increased up to $2.4 million by 2032. So do you think this is a step towards possibly a bigger WNBA, or is this the beginning of the NBA looking at this league as a bigger expense than it already is?
I think the NBA is going to start looking at it as a bigger expense. I think, but I also think we're looking at a scenario where the WNBA can be more independent and more financially viable without the NBA's help.
All right. The WNBA news made me re-examine number 4 here, the Women's Pro Baseball League that we talked about. They're starting up in August. And here's the thing. They're going to have 4 teams. They're going to have a Boston team, a New York team, a Los Angeles team, and a San Francisco team. But they're all playing in Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield, Illinois. They have no connection to Major League Baseball. And I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain cross-country travel in year 2 if they decide to go that route. They have to find stadiums to play in first. What are the odds this league picks up any kind of momentum without any connection to Major League Baseball?
I think it's an uphill battle. I think some people might tune in out of curiosity, but I think the product would have to be good enough to keep people beyond that. And I think that's ultimately what it's going to be dependent on. So we'll just have to see where the talent is and how it's marketed.
They have partnered with Fremantle for media production. They're looking for a national broadcast deal. They don't have one yet. Well, so we'll see. They're scheduled for August.
And I'm not trying to suggest it would be like a sideshow attraction like the Savannah Bananas. But if you would have told people 20 years ago, like, there's this team and they're going to be doing backflips when they catch fly balls, they're going to be the hottest ticket in like amateur, sports, you would have been like, what? I think if they can do marketing like the Savannah Bananas do, where it's marketed as fun and fan friendly, I could see it being viable in that way.
I need microphones on players.
Yes.
I want that in Major League Baseball, but I want to hear I want to hear more of Will the Thrill and Ricky Gone.
Yeah, I enjoy in spring training when they mic up the players for like an inning.
I need more of that, but we shall see. Number 5, high school stuff. PIAA basketball champions have been crowned. On the boys' end, we're going to work our way up here. 1A, Sankofa Freedom, your champs. Sewickley Academy wins 2A. Trinity, their first state title in 3A. Monsignor Bonner in 5A. That's right, we skipped one. Central Dauphin out of District 3, they take states in 6A. Good for them. Now check this out. I don't know if you heard this or saw this. In the 4A Pennsylvania PIAA state basketball playoffs, Devon Prep wins the state title. Their regular season record, 5-18.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
4th seed out of District 12. I tried to find some information on the District 12 tournament. Matt, let me tell you something. The District 12 website is one of the worst websites ever out on the web right now. Like, it's truly awful. They almost made the list.
A 5-win team.
If you look at their max preps, and the TikTok video that referenced this talked about, they scheduled really like out of their class, like they're scheduling 6A teams out of Philadelphia. They played an iron sharpens iron schedule, and District 12 sends 5 teams to the state playoffs in 4A. So, they knocked off Obama Academy, which I think is a cyber school in Pittsburgh.
Well,
I would want big champs. Just get hot, survive in advance, right?
Hey, more power to them. I mean, if they're gonna play a regular season schedule like that, that's admirable.
Yeah,
and it certainly paid off.
On the girls' end, Delco Christian wins 1A, Berlin Brothers Valley 2A, Greensburg Central Catholic. They knocked off my mom's old school Holy Redeemer in 3A. Newman Goretti wins 4A. South Fayette wins 5A. Upper Dublin, the team that knocked off Hazleton area, they take 6A. There's a look at your girls' PIAA basketball champs.
Yeah, Berlin Brothers Valley beat Southern Columbia in this area outside of Bloomsburg by Knoebels in the state semifinals, I believe.
Okay. All right. Number 7, Major League Baseball. I just saw this morning, and I had to fact check it. This is absolutely correct. Tim, for $29, you can get a ticket to a St. Louis Cardinals game and unlimited food from a limited menu, which includes hot dogs, bratwurst, chicken nuggets, nachos, and Coke. It requires you to sit in section 271 or 272 near the food, which is their left field loge area. But still, man, I mean, that might be the best deal in all of sports.
That is an absolute steal. Like, especially if you have the kind of iron stomach I used to have. Like $29 for a ticket and unlimited food Like I would just eat hot dogs and chicken nuggets and leave with a sodium level of, a small village.
For the record, St. Louis is projected to win 66 games this year, so they're not expecting a lot of fans. But you know what? That just tells you the margins that these guys make on food. That $29, wow, good for them. And it's a good segue to number 8 because we're going to talk about college wrestling and weight limits and all the weight cutting they have to do. How about Penn State wrestling, Tim? They claimed their 5th straight national championship, setting a points record. 5 straight national titles. That's a pretty good run, isn't it?
Yeah, you just think of what a non-entity Penn State wrestling was until Cale Sanderson got there. And they are
coaches here in a little bit. He might be on the list of greatest coaches of all time.
He would have to be if you consider what he's doing. Like, he's this generation's Dan Gable at Iowa.
Good for Penn State. The question was that among Penn State wrestling fans at the beginning of the year, their phrase was "Who's coming in second?" That feels like they could do that next year too. We'll
for the last 15 years, it feels like they could do that.
And then finally, today in history, I don't know if you know this, but it was the premiere of Star Trek. How much Star Trek do you know, Tim?
I've never really watched much Star Trek, for as big of a nerd as I am, but I know some things just through cultural osmosis.
You're a nerd.
I am a nerd.
I'm a geek.
You are.
Nerds are like book smart. Geeks are like super passionate about things. Now, I don't like Star Trek. I like Star Wars.
Well, I'm a geek about Marvel stuff and Star Wars.
I would venture to say you are more nerd than geek, just because of the intellectual. Once it's in there, it doesn't get out.
Okay.
And they say what is it? A geek is passionate, a nerd is super smart, and a dork is someone who knows the difference. I'm your geeky dork. You are a nerdy geek. How's that?
All right. We contain multitudes.
Yeah. And among the other geeky stuff we do is we teach history here on Soup and Meatballs through the magic of a deck of cards here. It's draft time.
Oh.
Draft time. I guess this week's draft was kind of sort of my idea, I guess, because also this day in history, back in 1934, Augusta National hosted the first Masters tournament. Now, honestly, the only golf I know is mini golf. I mean, I still tell the story to my students about the time that you you took out that farmer's barn.
Yeah, behind me.
And I tell them, I'm like, all right, look, you got a picture. I'm golfing this way. You hit the ball and it highlights behind you. How did you do that?
Just amazing club speed is what I tell people.
The physics are remarkable. And then the farmer coming out with the pitchfork. Yeah, that was bad times. But
good times.
We thought it would be interesting. And the more I thought about this, I don't know if we did this already, but this happens on show 59. We're going to draft people we think it would be interesting to go golfing with. That's what I listed. Hopefully
I've got my list right here. No bills. Right. But
number and color.
I'm going to go 7 red.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is in fact red. So there we go. This is
some history. What's the card?
The surrender of Germany in 1945. The unconditional surrender of the Third Reich, signed in the early morning hours, Monday, May 7th, at Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force in northeastern France.
That's right. They thought they were going to take over the world, and we said 9.
We said 7. That would have been funny if it was the 9 of hearts.
That's true.
Sorry, famous American document card. You had a chance. This is something else. I mean, before you draft, the price now is on this. What do you think? I'm sure my father bought this for me because I don't buy playing cards. What would you pay for a pack of famous American document playing cards?
So it's a novelty item. It's more than just a deck of cards. I'll say $5.
$95, man.
How much was it?
$4.95.
Come on.
Gosh,
Party pants.
I can't even. How can I compete with you?
This is Sports Jeopardy, Price is Right, all rolled into one. You don't get this.
Price is Right, you went over. Price is Right, you lose. So
close enough. Come on.
You tell that to the guy who bid a penny and won.
My number one pick, just for that, I'm stealing someone who I know is on your list. I went Bill Murray.
Oh, that was my first pick.
I knew he was on your list.
And I'm in trouble. I think I only have 6 guys on my list because I'm telling you, I think I did this already. So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, if I'm gonna suck, at least somebody's gonna make me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, and I tried to pick people who, like, not just people who I think are cool or funny, but who are associated with golf or known like golf enthusiasts. So Bill Murray obviously, played and continues to play in like every pro-am he can. So
Who's Bill Murray?
Oh, he's got to be pushing 80 now. 79?
75.
75.
And so whenever you Google something, I love how Google it offers you other questions that people also ask. How many biological children does Bill Murray have? Who asks that?
Is it because he has a bunch of siblings?
He has 6 kids. And then, the 4th question down might be one of the dumbest questions. Like, if you need Google to answer this, you have problems. Is Bill Murray a millionaire? His net worth is $180 million. Yes, he's a millionaire.
He's a Ghostbuster, sir.
Oh, my gosh. So, all right, Bill Murray, that's fair. Bill Murray's going number 1. I will pick my number 2 guy, who I don't know might be on your list because honestly, I would just want to hang out with this guy. He's just a good person altogether, all around, and he's just stupid big, and he would just dwarf me. I'm picking Shaq.
Okay. Yeah,
I think Shaq could be a good golfer too. He's probably much better than me, but maybe his short game is, and maybe that's where I get it. We'll play like best ball, and like my little tiny sand game is better than his.
I would like to try to drive with Shaq's clubs. Like, can you imagine how big
or how long they're?
Yeah, I mean, the man's 7 feet tall. I'm sure he has custom clubs.
Away from the ball.
Yeah. I would just want a picture of me standing like 12 feet away from the ball with this gigantic driver.
You know what would be cool? The driving on the cart from hole to hole. Seeing him try to fit into that.
We would probably need like a custom cart.
Would be wild, yeah. Custom cart with a cooler and like a built-in radio station blasting Trojan radio. Yeah.
Like Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack, just like right into the club bag. So what? So let's dance.
Let's dance. Oh, I should totally put Al Chervik on my list. If I need next one, it's going to be Al Chervik.
I'm gonna along the lines, and this might be someone who's on your list. I'm taking Barkley.
No, Charles Barkley's not on my list, but yeah, he's another one who I just saw a video of him where they were talking about his bests of the NCAA tournament. Who's the best college player you've ever seen? Who's the whatever? And then they asked him who the best coach was. We're going to talk about that next, and I guarantee you his best coach doesn't make either one of our lists. I guarantee it.
On this subject, I will say this:
Belichick.
The CBS studio shows during the tournament, across networks, the TBS and True TV and TNT ones,
Adam Zucker,
have been dire. They've been terrible. Barkley is Barkley's too entertaining to whatever setting you put him in. It's going to be amazing. But otherwise, these studio shows have been garbage.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen them. Is
Yeah.
is Adam Zucker still doing it?
Because they have like 12 different people now. Because they have like I can't even remember who else like Clark Kellogg's in studio, Chuck. I forget who the one lady is from the WNBA. They have an NFL guy.
I just remember Adam Zucker because he was the sports director at WBRE when I was interning at NEP. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of neat seeing him. Because I would run into him at, like, Red Barons games.
Yeah.
And considering, like, did newspaper guys talk to each other on the sidelines?
Yeah.
Like, TV, it wasn't like that. TV, it was more like, hey. The camera guys would talk. Because I don't think the camera guys cared as much, but like in TV, if you were on camera, it was a big deal to get the story first, and like you had to look better, and you had to sound better. Your tie had to look nicer. Like that was a big thing. And behind the scenes, the way they talked about each other, I'm sure was crazy. But I don't know. I mean, I was just an intern, so just seeing Zucker on a national thing is kind of cool to me.
Yeah, but, like during like between quarters, or if there was a long stoppage or something like that. You just make small talk.
So
we didn't have to look nice for anybody, clearly.
As far as golfing with somebody, though, Barkley's another one who, I mean, he probably lost a lot of money to Michael Jordan in Barcelona.
And just like, it would be amusing, just like, have you ever seen him like drive, like just how clunky his swing is? Like that alone would be worth it.
He looked good. That's probably a good. It's a good plan. I like that. It's definitely a good idea. My number two, I again just for the stories that I think would entertain me, and the way he tells the story. I never looked at chicken the same way after I heard that Jim Harbaugh said it was a scared bird. So I'll go golfing with Jim Harbaugh. Just to hear his theories on the world.
As much as I like him as a coach, I think he would annoy me over a long stretch of time. Like if I had to spend time with him.
Yes, I'm the other. I think I could handle Harbaugh. I think. Well, now if he starts talking stuff on me, like he's better than. Of course, you're a better golfer than me. I suck. I can self-deprecate with the best of them, but yeah, it might get a little old. But I think for one round of 18 at a putt, because again, my regular golfing is bad. I could handle it.
Would you just be peppering him with questions about the national championship season?
I don't know. I might lead off with, how pissed off were you at Mel Kiper?
Oh, sure.
And are you still pissed off at Mel Kiper for like challenging you when you were at the Colts? The conversation would be very Michigan centric, I'm sure. I'm only 6 years out of coaching myself. I might ask coaching stuff, and because I still think the X's and O's are interesting. So, like your thoughts on RPOs, like why do you like tight ends so much, and your thoughts on a 4-4 defense in junior high school football? I don't know. I'll tell you this: one of the best kids I ever coached was named Andrew. He was a fullback linebacker for us. He went on vacation, and he met. Oh God! I had the name and I lost it. New Orleans Saints head coach.
Sean Payton?
No. Yeah.
Like the former? You mean the Super Bowl coach, Sean Payton?
I think it was. Yeah, it might have been Payton, or it might have been a different coach with the Saints. He met him. He pulled up a digital copy of our playbook, and he asked for feedback on it. And what did he tell me? He's like, "You guys are running an 8th grade offense like this. That's pretty good." Like, wow, that was neat to hear. So I might talk to Harbaugh about stuff like that, playbooks and stuff like that.
I could see him being very willing to get down in the weeds about just like the intricacies of coaching.
X's and O's, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right, my number 3, and this is someone again who might exasperate me, but I think in entertaining ways is Larry David.
Okay. He's the Curb Your Enthusiasm guy?
Yep. And avid golfer, who I just find incredibly funny, but also like he's a fan of history. If I remember right, he was a history major. So we can talk, the presidents. I'm sure I'd probably pepper him with questions about, Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's a whole show. I don't think I've ever seen any of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, it's so good.
Like we talked about, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Jen and I did get through an episode or two of that, and it just didn't click. But I don't think I ever saw any of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm's a lot like Seinfeld in that it takes like different like questions of like social etiquette and like centers episodes around it. Except unlike Seinfeld, it's like on HBO, so it's a lot of ad-libbing and a lot of just language that you can't have on 1990s NBC.
I would have loved to seen Jerry Stiller on HBO. Instead of "you think you're better than me," it's "you think you're effing better than me."
Curb Your Enthusiasm is you should at least check out like one episode.
Okay. Well, if it's on HBO, it's going to be. We were just talking about this last night. Our cable bill is absolutely ridiculous for how much we use it. We haven't delved into. She looked at YouTube TV, but then we didn't. And then a buddy of mine was like, "Well, you could do this, like through VPNs." I'm like, "Well, okay. Well, I don't know how legal that is." But yeah, the Comcast bill is it's brutal. If they made a package where you get like a 15-channel grab bag. Everybody gets ABC, NBC, CBS because you get the big three.
I've said that for years that they should have an a la carte model of cable where you can like, I want the 5-channel package for this much a month. I want the 20-channel package.
But these are the specific 10 I want. I don't want the sports package where I have to get NASCAR and soccer and hockey because I'm not going to watch those. Give me MLB Network, give me ESPN, ESPN2, give me FS1, and maybe
Yes.
Yes is more regional. I'd love to get Yes, but I can't get it here. But like those other ones, at least they're national things.
Yeah.
But that'll never happen because it just makes too much sense and it's too consumer friendly. Why would we do that? Have you ever watched the Chappelle Show?
Sure.
Like pop copy. Why do we treat the customer like that? Because screw them. That's why.
Because HBO them.
So Larry David that sounds like a. See, this is where these kind of drafts they take us into these weird directions. And with my third pick, I know this isn't going to be on your list. Another really good storytelling guy, except the stories he tells are more from his days being a gang member. Listen, man, I could listen to Ice-T talk for hours. I would take 2 hours on a golf course with Tracy Marrow, better known as Ice-T, and maybe we'd have like an Arnold Palmer with Ice-T. Like that? It's cheesy. It's terrible.
Were you someone who watched him on Law and Order?
Yeah, I see clips on TikTok. So I'm in season 5 of Sons of Anarchy right now, and I forget how I got into it. Like I might have just been sitting at Maria's dance recital on my phone in Hulu. Like I was watching Abbott Elementary. I got through like 4 episodes and like this just isn't it. So and Sons of Anarchy might have been like, you might like this. But a lot of shows I will see clips of on TikTok and like, dude, I got to see this. Like Boston Legal was like that. That was a great show. And I knew just by the clips that like, Jen, you're going to like this too. So the last one I saw like that it's called The Good Wife. It's on Paramount.
Juliana Margulies?
Yeah. Not streaming anywhere I can see it. But I get a lot of Law and Order Ice-T clips too. They're on like season 26 or something like that. Like,
yeah,
man, I don't know if I'd ever I don't have the time or the wherewithal to catch up on a show like that. I don't think I'd hate it, but I also don't think I'd have the stamina to like get into their ongoing stories. If that makes sense.
Well, he can tell you stories, about Law and Order, and you can tell him stories about listening to Body Count while we lifted in Corey Brugger's garage.
Yeah. The other thing about Ice-T that a lot of people might not know, he is an avid video gamer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's big into either Call of Duty or first person shooter stuff that's like online. So kids out there, you're playing a Halo game, you might be playing against Ice-T. Who knows?
Well, and you could have a golf foursome. It could be you, Ice-T, Don Lemon, and Arnold Palmer.
that would be that's a good foursome right there.
My fourth choice, I'm going to go away. I'm going to go back to the sports route. I'm going to go with Larry Bird. I don't know how much he golfs these days, but he became like an avid golfer in his playing career. With his back, I don't know how much he golfs now, but just a chance to, I don't know, possibly get trash talked by him on the golf course, and just like kind of have like Chris Farley show moments where I'd be like, hey, Larry, you remember that time you dropped 60 on the Hawks? That was awesome.
No, that's fair, man. That's what I would do. Like, because I self-admittedly know I will not golf well enough. At least give me some people to talk to. Yeah, that would be cool for you, sure.
Yeah, that would be. And Larry Bird seems like the celebrity who would be like least. Where he'd be like, yeah, thanks, great. Like he would like be least appreciative of that kind of thing. But I wouldn't be able to help myself.
I was gonna say he would be gruff, I think. Whereas a long time ago, I met Axe and Smash, and I told myself, this is what I want to ask them. I wanted to ask them how they got their tongues all red, like because we used to eat Italian ice, like your tongue, dude, I look like Smash, it's awesome. And I'm walking around. It was down in Hagerstown. I'm walking around the convention center. I'm looking because they don't have a map of where anything is, because it was a small Comic-Con, and I'm looking down the hallway, and then there they are, and I'm like, and I went up. Nobody was at their table, and I started talking to them, and I just lost everything in my head.
Yeah.
So it was like I didn't like drool over them, but like, let me tell you something. It was really cool to meet them. Because there was no rush. When I met Ric Flair, there was a rush. They're like, right. You got 30 seconds, get in and get out. So I remember telling Smash, like, dude, when I was young, I had a mullet like you, and now I'm bald like you. That man's hand is like 6 times the size of mine. That's where the similarities end. But like a Larry Bird, if you gushed over him, you could tell yourself you're not going to. You absolutely would.
Oh my God!
You would lose your mind.
I would go back to being 8 years old. Yeah, and he would absolutely. It would be cool for me, less so for him. I don't think I'm on his top 5 of people he wants to golf with.
Let's get him on the phone and find out.
Hey, Larry, what are you doing? You want to play 18? Nah, man, I'm good. All right, thanks, Larry.
If we can get like a guest spot we can get Tom Sillo on here. We can get Larry Bird on here. Why not? Give it a shot. All right. My number 4. This was a late addition, and by late I mean I added it like 5 minutes ago because it just popped into my head. I like to laugh uncontrollably at stupid stuff, and I think when you said Chris Farley, it might have been like that's when it clicked. I will golf for 18 holes with Vince Vaughn, and he will say like a normal thing, and it will become the funniest thing I've ever heard. And we can jump on a table, and he can do the whole, you're all grown up thing.
Yeah.
That would be, as long as he like wasn't like serious Vince Vaughn. I need swingers Vince Vaughn. Like
you want to golf with Double Down Trent. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, like, what Vince Vaughn you would get if he would be on, or if he'd be like, "No, man, that's just on camera. Like, let's just golf."
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a showman aspect to almost everybody that if you get a giggle from somebody, they're like, yeah, I did that. I made that happen. Watch, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, I see. Like with Bill Murray, I definitely see that. Like he would, like he would feed off that.
I don't know. I don't know about enough about Vince Vaughn, the person, outside of the media interviews that he does or the movies. So this is like a fourth round. I'm shooting for a Hail Mary here.
Well, and then after you golf, you could play some NHL '94.
Yeah, we make Gretzky's head bleed for Superfan number 99.
Number 99 over here. Yeah. That's such a good movie.
It is. And see, we got a little swingers action here. That sounds.
For my number, yeah, that's a very different podcast.
That's Super Meatballs After Dark.
For my number 5, I'm gonna go with an actual golfer. I'm gonna go with defending Masters champion Rory McIlroy.
Okay, that's fair.
An Irishman, seems like a cool dude, but also just the chance to like have an up close view of someone who plays golf at that level. Like one of the great players of his generation. Like I just think that'd be really cool.
I guess I don't like. See, this is where you lose me here because I don't like golf. When it was a couple of years ago, there were two guys in my department, Jonathan and Josh, who were big golfers, and like right around this time of year, in the middle of the halls in between classes, they would go full blown like golf this, golf that. John actually went to the Masters once. He's got like one of those official Augusta shirts that you could only get there.
Yeah,
they truly appreciate the sport to a level that I just don't. If we had a back and forth, like if we played tennis, like you named a golfer, I named a golfer, you named a golfer, I named a golfer, I don't know how far I would get after Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, John Daly. Yeah, I'm gone.
Okay.
And who was Tiger Woods' big rival back in like the early 2000s? Lefty. Who was lefty?
Phil Mickelson.
Phil Mickelson. I couldn't pull Mickelson's name out. I don't.
He had a couple guys who were like right there, like between like Ernie Els and Vijay Singh.
Okay, yes. So now that you say the names, like, yeah, okay, I remember those, but they're just not names I could like just pull out. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But if you're into the sport, golfing with one of the best ever, that would be a cool thing.
And I'm not like super into golf. I'll watch the majors. Or if it's on, like if I'm around and it's on a Sunday, like a final round, I'll watch it. But I'm not, super knowledgeable. Certainly, I don't play.
My mother-in-law watched golf because her brother was a pro golfer. He had his button.
Really?
Yeah.
Had his button.
What do they call it?
Had his tour card?
His tour. Yeah, whatever it was. I mean,
it's not the mafia. He didn't have to hold his hand over a flame.
Whatever it was, he was getting paid to golf for a while. He was the local pro at one of the Pittsburgh country clubs too.
That's pretty cool.
You know what I'm talking about.
Got his button. Yeah. He had to kill a guy, but he got his button.
So I have two people on my list. And one of them is like the official, I guess I'm allowed to pick.
Okay.
But I'm going to do something. I want you to see this because this is the first person I thought of who I'd like to golf with.
That looks like a completely redacted document to me, even with my glasses. It's just.
Oh, no. There's 3 letters there. It says T, I, and M.
Oh. You want to see if I can replicate my shot, the barn shot?
Sure. No, that was my first thing when I thought about this list. I'm like, I want to tell the barn story because that's the funniest thing I've ever. my official pick is going to be Jonathan Goldsmith, who is the most interesting man in the world. He's in the Dos Equis commercials.
Oh, sure.
I know nothing else about him, but no, I wanted to tell the story about you hitting the barn in reverse. So Tim, you made the list. Just, the good list.
But in a good list, yeah. Well, let's go golfing sometime this summer.
No, we're going to go to a baseball game and we'll have a lot more fun there. I'm actually working, while we consider the top 5 coming up next, I'm working on trying to find out how to get MLB credentials, like press credentials. Like, because we're 60 shows in, man. We're the part of the media. We should be able to get on the field and talk to players.
We're an institution.
We're something.
Yeah.
And I've looked into it. Like, I think we need a more official email than soupandmeatballs8721@gmail.
Oh, maybe a minor league team will let us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, check with Scranton, check with Harrisburg,
Lehigh Valley. They love shenanigans, the Iron Pigs.
I kind of wanted to get Phillies one so I could talk to Mattingly in the dugout, but I'm still working. All right, top 5 time. Top 5. This was new this week.
Did you have any honorable mentions, by the way, or you exhausted your list?
My list. Tim, you were my honorable mention.
Oh,
I just wanted to tell you that it was there. Like, it was officially on the list. I didn't just make it up.
I did have some honorable mentions. I'll throw out real quick. Adam Sandler.
I can see that. He's. I think he would get into his Happy Gilmore thing, and that would irritate me. Like the potential for Jim Harbaugh to irritate you.
I could see that. And along those lines, Will Ferrell, who I think would also do a lot of shtick. And then 2 other athletes. Josh Allen, avid golfer, and I think just like a really cool dude. And obviously Michael Jordan.
No, I couldn't do that.
He'd be like, all right, I'm going to bet you $10,000 you cannot hit this putt. I'd be like, Michael, that's probably what my car's worth these days.
Yeah, I have an opinion of Michael Jordan that's like on a pedestal. Me golfing with him would hurt that. Because my suckitude would treat me like he treated Scotty Burrell.
He'd be talking trash till you ended up like Miggs and Silence of the Lambs trying to swallow your own tongue.
Yeah, that would be bad. If I had to like come up with honorable mentions, like I think back to the old like 90s Yankees, I could hang out with Bernie Williams. He seems like a cool guy. As weird as it sounds, I think I could jam with Hideki Matsui.
Greg Maddux wouldn't be a bad one. Avid golfer, Greg Maddux.
Was he a golfer too? Yeah.
All those Braves pitchers that used to, Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddux used to golf regularly together. I
just told the Maddux story with I think it was Jeff Bagwell. They were playing a game in July. It was like 8-0, and he threw an inside fastball. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to see these guys again in the playoffs, and that's when he's going to remember this." And he did, and he struck. That's just that next level. Just amazing me about Maddox.
Yeah.
All right, man. Top 5 time. What's our top 5?
So, NCAA tournament time. Obviously, I suggested we rank our top 5 best college basketball coaches, men's Division I, and in our lifetime.
Oh my. Okay. Well then.
Oh, did you not? So let me amend that. I said we should rank our top 5 college basketball coaches
of our lifetime.
No limits.
Yeah. No. So, hang on for a second here. I'm gonna go back.
Reno Sweeney. Anything goes.
Shoot, you did say men's college coaches of all time. Damn. So I'm going first because I'm getting Gino out of the way because he couldn't coach the men. I'm like, I just saw college basketball coaches and I thought, man, let's get a little weird and wonky. Gino Auriemma was the first name I wrote down because
he's going to win another one in 3 weeks.
I don't think there's ever been any kind. Like Pat Summitt was a worthy adversary, but he has long since passed Pat by, and I don't think there's ever going to be another that comes close to him. I do have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 men here, but I'm telling you, Gino deserves to get. He's
He's
did he
John
coach
Wooden.
the U.S. Olympic team? Was he on the men's staff for that?
Yeah.
Then there you go. He's a men's coach.
All right.
Talking it counts, but like 11 national championships and counting. It'll be 12 in a couple of weeks, like you said. It'll be 1,300 wins. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, how old is he? You know, no sign of stop. Is he 70?
He's the best looking 70-year-old ever. Gino Auriemma is 71 years old.
Yeah. So we'll see how much longer he wants to do it.
Do you know where Gino Auriemma went to college?
No, I don't.
He graduated, allegedly, according to Google, from Westchester University from the Department of Economics and Finance.
Go PSAC.
I mean, Derek's looking at Westchester because they have a really good music school. But like Gino Auriemma at West, I did not know that.
Well, I mean, John Chaney before Temple, he coached at Temple in the PSAC.
Gino Auriemma was a student at Westchester.
John Calipari was a PSAC guy. He played in the PSAC.
Did he?
Yeah, in the 70s. I forget which school. Look up where Calipari played.
Calipari, Clarion.
Yeah,
that's awful. That's an awful school.
It counts.
I'm sure it counts, but God, it's Clarion.
Funny.
My college advisor would talk so much junk on Clarion. He's like, "You guys are at Indiana University. You're at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. You're not at some crap school like Clarion." You would say this in class.
I remember they had a terrible student paper that we used to make fun of, the Clarion Call.
Oh, there you go. But Clarion did have a heck of a defensive end named Jared Faith back in the day that I went on to coach many games with. So,
and also he's not on my list, but Jay Wright from Villanova, an honorable mention for me, played at Bucknell.
Okay, so he's a smart guy.
Yes. So obviously I'm going. You go Gino. I'm going Coach K.
I think. Well, this isn't a draft, so I think we're going to see a lot of similarity. Krzyzewski was the first. And he will be the first men's coach most people think about, all-time wins and tournament success. If it wasn't for that stupid haircut, it'd be better.
You talk about John Wooden being the standard for a certain generation, but John Wooden, it was a different era when he was getting his success. It was just, recruiting was more national and less regional for Krzyzewski, certainly in the 90s, but even in the 80s and then the 2000s.
I think people thought they complain about Gino Auriemma and the competition that he faced. I think beyond maybe one or two other teams, I think UCLA might have had that same argument back in the 70s.
Right. And no such argument for Krzyzewski and Duke in the ACC or
And he did it for so long. How long was he coaching? From
like 82? Did he start at Duke? Earlier?
80. So he was an Army for 5 years, and then for 42 years at Duke.
Yeah.
I'm only on this planet 47 years, so it's hard for me to consider anything for 42 years. But he did it at such a high level for such a long time. It wasn't like he didn't slow down, like you said.
And really, it almost is like college basketball is divided into the Wooden era and then like the modern era where, each one is like the figure of their era. Like they define, and we'll see where the sport goes from here. Like, the NIL era, who's going to be, the defining coach of that era. Because college basketball, more than pro basketball, certainly is defined by the coaches.
Yeah,
but Wooden and Krzyzewski are the two towering figures.
The people who would say that Krzyzewski wouldn't be able to coach in an NIL era because people are getting paid, people forget like he was the Dream Team's coach for a long time. I forget when he took over Team USA, but he handled Olympic athletes. So
he went from the era of where you'd have a Danny Ferry or a Leitner for 4 years to he adapted to the one and done, where he had the Zions and the Tatums and the Kyries, you know.
Jason, who was it? The point guard,
Jason Williams.
Jason Williams. Like, oh my gosh, because you said Jay Wright, and that would kind of stuck in my head. Like, no, his name's not Wright. He works at ESPN now. Yeah, the Jason Williams is the world. How many times did Coach K win ACC Coach of the Year? This is shocking.
In 42 years, it's going to be what? Maybe only like 5 times.
5.
Wow,
that's nuts.
That's one of those things where it's just understood, you know, like it's like how Jordan didn't win the MVP every year when he was at his peak, or LeBron didn't win MVP every year. You know, like after a while, like voter fatigue sets in.
So Krzyzewski made my list at number 2. I'll give you my number 3 because he might not be as high on the list in terms of wins, but when he took over at the University of Connecticut, I think UConn only won 4 NCAA games in their history. And when Jim Calhoun showed up, he built UConn into what they are now, and they are a national figurehead. 3 national titles. He upset Duke in '99, but the fact that I would say Krzyzewski built Duke into what they are. Calhoun built UConn into what they are, and I think UConn is it may not be one of the Mount Rushmore programs, but since I like them, then I'm gonna list Calhoun in my top 5 here.
Yeah, and you look at the way that he built UConn, where the Big East was such a dominant force in the 80s, where it was, you know, Georgetown and St. John's, and Calhoun, you know, started to like nudge UConn up to where, you know, like when they had like Donnell Marshall and Ray Allen and guys like that, where they could, you know, they weren't quite like national title contenders yet, but they were a Sweet 16, Elite 8 type team. And then they break through at that 99 team. Then they win again with Emeka Okafor. And then they win a third title when they go on the run in, what was it, 2013, I think. The Kemba Walker.
2011.
2011. You know, so it was like this slow build where he had to conquer some giants, but he made them, you know, probably the dominant program of you know, the 80s, 90s, and 2000s Big East.
They were right there with, like you said, big dogs. Syracuse with Chip Boeheim. But then, like, he passed off to who I have to look it up, Kevin Ollie, and Kevin Ollie kind of like he won a national title in 2014. So, and then to your favorite guy right now, who's continued along, but it was all built foundationally from Calhoun. So
yeah,
Calhoun gets my
and Calhoun's on my list, so I'll cross him off. Cross him off then.
Oh, so we had another double. Cool. Okay, so who you have 2 shots that get somebody on mine, and the one guy I didn't want to talk about for certain reasons, but I have a feeling this guy's going to be on your list, so you can go with that guy.
I have a feeling the 3 who are left on my list, I'd be surprised if we don't have multiple overlap. Rick Pitino.
So Pitino was the one I wasn't sure I wanted to talk about.
Bit of a dirtbag.
Because of the Louisville scale, like he's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
But he, unquestionably, when you talk about coaching, especially at multiple programs.
Yeah, did it at Providence, then did it at Kentucky, and with
you could make a list for Mr. Smarty Pants. What are the 6 teams he took to the Final Four? Or no, to just the NCAA tournament. So.
And he got to Kentucky when they were dealing with, you know, NCAA violations, and you know, was able to build them back up.
And he went to Louisville. Oh gosh, how do you go to Louisville after you coach at Kentucky? How do you? Yeah,
and then he does it there, but you know, in some
sex parties. That's how you do it. Come on.
You know, the less said about that, he doesn't want us to talk about that for multiple reasons. I don't know if you've ever heard the testimony, but he does not. It does not go well for Rick.
It doesn't. No. Okay, so we won't. Let's talk about him on the court.
Yeah, but now you know, back in the college game, doing it at St. John's. You know, he wins wherever he goes.
913 of them. If you don't take out the 123 that got vacated, the whole concept of vacating wins is dumb to me. The games were played.
Yeah,
it's whatever. They weren't cheating in the games, but whether they cheated to get to play that, you could argue yourself silly. Guy can coach straight up. The next guy here, 2 different stints where he won 400 games at multiple schools. Wins 400 at Kansas. He's 485 at North Carolina. 3 national titles. What can you say about Roy Williams, man? The guy is 32 NBA first-round draft picks this guy coached.
Yeah.
Heck of a coach.
One thing I can say about him is he was also on my list.
That's obviously.
And he's another one where when he came to Carolina, the program was down. He was taking it over from the Matt Doherty years. And
I didn't realize he was a Carolina guy. I knew him as a Kansas guy for a long time with the Rex Walters, Jacques Vaughn eras. And when that job opened, all the media was saying, "Well, Roy Williams." I didn't realize he was an alum there. So yeah, he fits the storyline there.
Yeah, North Carolina native, North Carolina alum, and then he was a Dean Smith assistant when Jordan and Perkins and Worthy were there. And yeah.
This guy has a 75% winning percentage in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, just anywhere he went, same as Pitino.
79-27. And I remember in Kansas, the big rub was he couldn't win the big one. He couldn't win. He'd never won the big one with the Jayhawks, despite all the one seeds and the All-Americans that they had, 80% winning percentage, 412 plus wins or whatever it was. They just never seemed to get over the hump. So to see him get over the hump not once, twice, but 3 times with the Tar Heels, maybe speaks more about him than it was his time at Kansas. He wasn't the choke artist maybe the media put him out to be.
Right, because the one that he lost to Duke in '91, where Duke was pretty heavily favored. Duke had beaten UNLV in the Final Four. But other than that, he was favored, certainly against Syracuse, and there were a few times where Kansas was an early out. So that was kind of the rub on him. But yeah, he dispelled that certainly in North Carolina. You talk about someone you didn't want to maybe talk about. I included this guy begrudgingly on my list because as a person, I just do not like him or did not like him. But if you talk about winners, Bobby Knight's got to be on there.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. For both reasons, I got you.
The coach of the last team to finish the season undefeated in men's Division I, the '76 Indiana team.
Not in our lifetimes, though.
Well, that was not in our lifetime, but he won.
Yeah,
he did win two titles in our lifetime. One with the Isaiah Thomas team, and then the one where they beat Syracuse in '87. Well,
I didn't care in '87.
Blame Keith Smart for that one.
Huh?
I said blame Keith Smart for that one. Yeah. But yeah, just whatever you think of his tactics or his demeanor or anything else, the guy was a winner.
He tried to bully Michael Jordan in the Olympics, and Jordan didn't care.
Yeah,
that's a funny story I hear every now and then. In the locker room, he's like, "Well, I have to make an example of the best player," and whatever that dialogue was back and forth, Jordan was like, "Okay, whatever." And this was back Jordan he wasn't a pro yet. This was his Carolina days.
Yeah.
So
and you talk about an eye for talent. He was one of the first people to recognize Jordan's greatness when he was talking with Rod Thorne about why they should draft Jordan. Or no, he was talking with the Houston GM, whoever the Houston GM was, because they take Elijah one. And they're like, well, Bobby, we need a center. And Bobby's like, no, you want this Jordan kid. And they're like, no, Bobby, we need a center. He's like, then play Jordan at center. You got to take him.
That's great. So my number, I have another guy listed here that when I was going through, I was trying to think of, I didn't want us to come up with the same 5. I think that's where Oriema came in. And I did some research, and I found a guy who coached for 54 years, won 1,144 games out of Philadelphia at Jefferson City College. A guy named Herb McGee, commonly referred to as the Shot Doctor, the all-time leading winning coach in Division II history. So when you say D1, it disqualifies him.
Right.
But like, look up some stuff about this Herb McGee guy, a National Hall of Famer. He played in the Philadelphia area. He had Jim Lynam was one of his teammates, the former Sixer.
Yeah.
All kinds of, like, his first year coaching, he was 21-6, made the NCAA tournament. I see 1 year on his record, 2 years on his record. It's a long record. 2 years where he was under 500.
Wow.
Every other year, and I'm talking like 28-4, 30-2, 29-2, 26-5, 21-6, 24-7. For 50 years. That is the definition of consistency at the D2 level, where you have to be a better coach, I think, than, like, honestly, if you gave me the 92 Duke Blue Devils, I could probably win 10 games. How hard could it be?
Oh, 10 games. Yeah. On talent alone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, this guy at the D2 level winning over 1,100 games, I thought, yeah, I'm going to put him on my list. 5-time CACC tournament champion, 6-time South Division regular season, whatever this is. He did win a Division II national championship in 1970.
I'd be curious, like, what kind of offers he got, either from, like, bigger schools or, like, to
in the Temple area,
be an assistant in the NBA or ABA or.
He has a Wikipedia page, so, but personal life, it said he's been married twice, has 2 daughters.
He had a sex scandal at Louisville. What?
Wow. He received a Bachelor of Science in Marketing from Philadelphia University in 1963. He went to St. Joe's, got his master's in education, and he must have started coaching right away, because his first year of coaching was 67-68. He coached the Olympic festive team. I don't know what that is, along with John Calipari. The NABC honored him with the Coach of the Year. He was big in clinics, known as the Shot Doctor because of his ability to teach basketball shot making through his thousands of clinics. Oh, in one such clinic, he parked his car, entered onto the court without any warm-up. He hit 25 in a row from the top of the key.
Wow. All right.
He was, look at this. Okay, so now that we see more, at 5'10", he was a 2-time All-American and drafted by the Boston Celtics. But he broke his fingers before training camp and opted to go back to school and coach. How about, so he was a Boston Celtic for a cup of coffee.
A scrappy 5'10" guard.
There you go. So good times, man.
All right.
Good deal.
Herb McGee.
All right. Mr. Smarty Pants. I think it's Mr. Smarty Pants time. Yeah.
All right. And I have a list for you.
What's that?
I have a list for you.
Sweet. I have 2 questions, and the list it's another one of these stupid pictures, but we're going to see how well you do.
Okay.
Trivia-wise, number 1. You know who the all-time leading scorer is in NCAA tournament history, is Christian Laettner. Do you know who holds the single game scoring record in the NCAA tournament?
Is it Bill Bradley?
Bill Bradley is number 2. The dollar.
What about Maravich?
I don't remember him from the list. Maybe, but no.
Give me an era.
1970.
David Thompson.
Not David Thompson. He's from Notre Dame. That helps. He did it against Ohio.
Dame. Did Dan Issel play at Notre Dame?
He might have. It's not who I'm looking for, but Dan Issel might have been there.
What about Austin Carr?
Austin Carr, there you go.
That's the name I was grasping for. Austin.
Dan Issel graduated from University of Kentucky.
That's right.
So 61 points against Ohio for Austin Carr.
Wow.
Now, that was in 1970. We did a whole thing about coaches in our lifetime. Do you know who holds the record for the most points in an NCAA tournament game in our lifetimes? I'll give you a clue. It happened against the University of Michigan.
Bo Kimball.
That was not Bo Kimball.
Most points our lifetime against Michigan. I mean, it's not Hank Gathers, is it?
It is not Hank Gathers.
Because there was that Loyola team that put up like 130 or something like that in 19.
Oh, wow. According to Google, no.
Okay. What era was it?
That I didn't write down the date, but that is easily figured out. Mid-'80s.
Mid-'80s.
This is a tough one. Unless you actually know that he scored a bunch of points.
Yeah.
If I tell you where he went to school, you're going to get it because he's the only one known for basketball in this school.
Only one known for basketball at this school. So it can't be someone like Danny Manning or like Darrell Griffith. What's the school?
Hold on, no. Thinking.
You guys, there's an absolutely.
I don't care about you guys. Paid promotions.
When I heard the voice, I thought Jen was talking off camera.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Stop with this stupidness. Here, let's try this one.
All right. So David Robinson.
David Robinson once scored 50 points against the University of Michigan. There you go.
Huh.
I wouldn't have guessed that either. But
yeah.
I will say now the list, the trivia list. The questions we asked you last week, like who's the only team to go undefeated. Some of these are going to be of that level, but some of them are like they're wonked. One of them is the only perfect season. I'll skip over that. This one is called Every NFL Team's Unbreakable Record.
Okay.
So the record that they feel is unbreakable. Who has the record for most points in a game?
As a team, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
The Bears?
These are all team records. Yep, bear down.
Okay.
Which team has the longest losing streak?
The Bucks.
Bucks, 26 games. Which team? This is where it's a little tougher. Which team has the record for the most consecutive wins on the road?
How about the Patriots? How about the Dolphins? I was just trying to think of like the two teams that had perfect
undefeated. Sure. The road wins. This is over the course of multiple seasons.
Oh wow. Huh. Steelers?
Say it again.
Steelers?
Nope, not the Steelers. I'm pretty sure if I tell you the years, it'll be like, oh yeah.
What are the years?
88, 90, 88, 89, 90.
Niners?
San Francisco, 18 road wins in a row.
Wow.
You know how hard it is to win on the road in the NFL? They did it 18 times in a row. That's crazy.
Some of that's probably how weak their division was. The Rams were good, but the Falcons were bad. Seattle was in the NFC, or no, they were in the AFC West then. Atlanta. Who else? The Saints weren't necessarily great.
Back in that era, sure. The next, well, this one might be the fewest points allowed for a season.
Was it the 75 Steelers who had that shutout streak?
No. I'm wondering if this is more of a because of the year it was played. It was 1932.
Oh, when you said that, I thought maybe it was like the strike year of 82. 32. I'd just be throwing names out then. Is it like the Bears, Packers, Canton Bulldogs?
It's the Chicago Bears. 44 points. I don't know how many games they played, but still, that's nuts.
Yeah.
The most consecutive Super Bowl appearances,
The Bills.
The Bills. The most interceptions thrown in a season. This is insane.
Most interceptions. How many interceptions is it?
48.
Good God. How bad was the backup?
I don't know. I got to look it up because I don't know anything about this team. You got to be kidding me.
What was the year?
I'm hold on. I'm verifying myself as not a robot for Pro Football Reference. It's hey, successful. I got to double check this team stat here. Oh my God! Yeah, it's correct. The backup threw 5 interceptions, threw 1 interception, but all of these were one guy, and the team went 11-3. They still went 11-3 despite this.
Okay, so it's pre-84.
Yeah, 1962. I'll tell you.
Was it an AFL team?
Probably. Yeah, I'm going to say they are. It's AFL.
What about like Daryl LaMonica?
Nope. They're just looking for teams too.
Oh, because I was thinking like the Raiders, just like the way they would air it out.
I will tell you, the quarterback who threw 5 interceptions is named Jackie Lee, and the running back who threw the interception was Charlie Tolar.
Yeah, I don't know it.
The starting quarterback threw 27 touchdowns, 42 interceptions.
He was the Jameis Winston of the Kennedy era.
Finished in the top 2 for the All-Pro, George Blanda.
Oh, that makes okay.
So,
wow.
You know who it is?
Was Blanda with the Raiders then?
It was the Houston Oilers.
Oh God. Okay.
48 interceptions. Which, I mean, if you compare it and contrast to the 2025 New York Jets,
can we get a box score of the 62 Oilers playing against last year's Jets to see if the Jets intercept Blanda?
You know what? Hold on here for a second. Let me get on ChatGPT. Let's type something to it. Simulate a game between the 1962 Houston Oilers and the 2025 New York Jets. Do the Jets record an interception? ChatGPT's thinking, Time Warp Showdown. Today's simulation pits the high-powered offense of the 62 Oilers, high-powered, against the defense-first mentality of the New York Jets? What?
Well, they might have had the mentality. It doesn't mean it played out.
George Blanda. Hold on for a second. Hello. I think I got butt dialed. Yep, I did. George Blanda goes 17 out of 32 for 2 touchdowns and a pick. So the question answered: Did the Jets record an interception? Yes, and it was the difference in the game because the Jets win 24-20.
Well,
sure.
George Bland is gonna George Bland, I guess.
I guess. So then there's two more here.
Okay.
Which team has the NFL record for the most consecutive games with a touchdown pass?
The Indianapolis Colts.
That's a good guess, but no. Right era.
Packers.
That's a good guess too. Not as good as the Colts. Try again. One more.
Patriots.
No, not the Patriots. So you get one more guess. What would it go?
The Saints with Breeze.
Yeah, I would say not Manning, not Breeze, and not Rodgers, not Brady. It was Breeze. 54 straight games from 09 to 12. And then I get one more shot here.
Okay.
Hello. All right. It is, in fact, the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to take a timeout here real quick.
Okay.
So while I'm gone, entertain the people. I shall return. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I can't be entertaining for that long. Hey, everybody. While we're alone, I've got the Miami-Purdue game on. So I'm going to put my glasses on. That's right. You get sexy librarian Tim here. Right now, they're just introducing the teams. Are you entertained? I hear some noise on the other end. I hope it means Max is coming back soon. We've been doing this for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I also have a list prepared here for Max of trivia. We'll see how many he gets right out of 10. I don't want to say what the topic is in case he can hear me. Also, Miami just threw an alley-oop off the opening tip. That is not a good omen for Purdue. Oh, and Miami's playing a press. This could be very entertaining. Oh, turnover. This is, if you're tuning in to hear me narrate a game you could very easily watch by yourself, then you're in luck, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I don't know I don't know what else to say. I need an adult. I'm going to go see Project Hail Mary this week. That looks pretty good. Might watch that the series premiere of the UK version of Saturday Night Live. Miami's up 5 already. We're a minute into the game. Also thinking about maybe baking a cheesecake. I just got a new springform pan. I learned how to play the opening to Bohemian Rhapsody on the guitar. That's fun. Who do you think Max is talking to? You think he's planning on going golfing without me? I hear stirrings. Is this the compelling content that you tuned in for? I could use a shave. Boy, Purdue better find some... Oh. I was going to say, Purdue better find some answers here. I don't know what's going to be the best game today. I'm kind of excited about that UCLA-UConn game. I hope it ends with both coaches getting into a slap fight. And give us something to talk about next week. He didn't even leave me with a topic to talk about.
Worst commercial ever. Oh,
you should see the prime content that I was giving the people.
what were you? So what you talking about?
Grade A riff. Well, you'll have to go back and watch
Me
and the viewers.
We'll check it out. on YouTube after the fact. Whew. You'll have to. So that was my lovely wife calling to tell me the groceries are on the front porch, and she says it's hot out. It's 65 and sunny. I'm not sure it's hot, but yeah, the frozen stuff has to get put in the freezer. So that's what I did. Took care of it.
Don't want any rancid meatballs.
I do have 2 meatballs from Mario's in the fridge waiting for me for an after show snack.
I have canned soup. I have no fresh soup.
You have canned soup.
Yeah, like chunky soup.
Yeah.
Eats like a meal.
It eats like a meal, huh?
Yeah, that's what Donovan McNabb's mother told me.
All right, what's the list for me, Mr. Noodlehead time?
As you had alluded to, Christian Laettner is the all-time leading scorer in NCAA tournament history, with 407 points all-time in his career in the tournament. Who are the other 9 players in the top 10 all-time scoring in tournament history?
Oh my gosh, dude! This is. So you'd want to find people who like played a bunch of tournament games for a bunch of years. So like you're not going to see like the Zion Williamsons or the Carmelo Anthonys.
Correct.
So let's the Grant Hill.
That's a great guess. I was surprised he's not on here.
How about Danny Manning?
He is third with 328 points. I will say that Laettner has 50 more points than anyone else in tournament history.
For him, that's like 2 games.
Yeah. But Manning is third with 328. The great Danny Manning of Kansas.
The aforementioned Pete Maravich.
Another great guess, but not Pete Maravich.
No. How about somebody like Magic Johnson?
Magic Johnson left Michigan State early, so he's not on the list.
Like Bill Walton?
I was surprised Bill Walton's not on the list.
Hey. Kareem? Or Lou Alcindor?
Kareem, or whatever you want to call him, he is 7th with 304 career
He's only 7th.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys are very closely bunched together. Like number 10 and number 2 are only separated by 57 points.
That's a lot.
So we have Kareem 7, Manning 3, Laettner 1. Number 10 is the guy who...
Yeah, you're going to start giving me hints, because you could actually give me schools I probably wouldn't get them.
10 is the most obscure guy on the list. No, number 10 played at Gonzaga and was like a player of the year caliber guy, but time has kind of forgotten him, even though he's played within the last 8 years.
Adam Morrison? No, he's not within the last 8 years.
No.
Yeah, help me out.
Number 10 is Drew Timme of Gonzaga.
Who?
He was on those like great Gonzaga team, like the team that went to the final, that was undefeated and then lost.
But a bunch of games, yeah.
Yeah. He had 301 career points. We have a tie for number 8. One of the players has already been mentioned on this episode, and one was mentioned last week.
You said David Thompson today.
I did, but right era, but not David Thompson.
Dan Issel.
Not Dan Issel.
Shucks, who else are you talking about? Charles Barkley?
Played at Princeton.
Princeton. Chris Long?
It's not Chris Long.
Darn. He's the only guy who played at Princeton. Herb McGee?
Went on to have a career in politics. Played for the Knicks. Played for the Red Holtzman teams of the 70s.
Talked about him today.
Yeah, someone my dad would have talked about.
Oh, Bill Bradley. Bill Bradley.
Dollar Bill Bradley,
Dollar Bill,
303 points.
55-point game. Yeah, that makes sense. That's fair.
And the person he's tied with was a player of the year who won a title in the 90s. Or if he wasn't a national player of the year, he was that caliber.
Oh, okay. I mean, in the 90s, wasn't... Now,
He was definitely the most outstanding player of the tournament that his team won.
It's probably not Corliss Williamson, but that's where my head went.
It's Corliss Williamson.
Hey, it is. How about that? Yeah, Mr. Noodlehead.
Number 6. You would know number 6 because he's a Michigan guy. What's that? It is Glenn Rice.
Okay.
With 308. So you can see 7 points separated 10 from 6.
Gotcha.
Number 5 played before our lifetimes, but is like an all-time NBA guy. You know who he is.
I got nothing.
Oscar Robertson.
Okay, that's Cincinnati.
Yep. Number 4 was kind of like the Tim Tebow of college basketball. Didn't have much of a pro career, but was like his almost like his generation's Leitner.
I was gonna say that it feels like Leitner to me.
No, Leitner's number 1.
I know.
Leitner
feels like Tebow. Back-to-back championships, not a big pro career.
You'll kick yourself when you hear the name. Because I feel like the Tebow comparison's a good one.
Okay, well, let me hear it.
Tyler Hansborough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I'll go.
Ow. Number 2 is closely associated with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Didn't play at UCLA, but was a rival of Jabbar's in college and the pros.
Wilt?
No. If you've heard of the game of the century from 1968, when UCLA had their winning streak snapped, the 88-game winning streak, he was He was the star player on the team that snapped UCLA's streak.
Was that Notre Dame?
No, University of Houston.
Oh, it's against Houston?
Yeah. One of the great forgotten superstars of the 70s, Elvin Hayes.
Elvin Hayes, okay. Yeah.
Second leading scorer in tournament history, 358 points.
Okay.
It's funny because I don't know that I would have necessarily thought of Hansborough. Like, he's a guy who had a great college career who...
and a lot of games played. How many years did Hansborough play at UNC?
What's that?
How many games how many years did Tyler Hansborough play? He stayed all 4 years, right?
Yeah, he stayed all 4, and he won a title his senior year.
But he still was a first-round pick. He was a lottery pick.
Yeah, did he go to the Pacers?
Yeah. But yeah, you play 4 years, you get yourself on that kind of list. Oh, so that's a good list. Good job, man.
I'm really surprised Grant Hill didn't make the list because he was deep runs, the 2 titles. They went to a Sweet 16, and then they went to a final his senior year. Yeah,
he another 4-year guy. Well, all-time NCAA tournament points. And I wonder where total. Not career. I wonder where he would fall. So it's going to be a minute till I can figure it out. But
maybe because he wasn't like a scorer first type of guy. He like really filled up a box sheet. He was like
he was a facilitator.
17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals.
How about this crazy list? I'm not sure I would get anybody past number 1 on this list. I looked up the most points in a career. So since 1947-48, who has the most points in NCAA history?
Well,
this
I mean,
is who's who of I've never heard of these guys, except for some of them.
Yeah, I mean, Maravich was 1.
Number 2, oh my God, who is this guy?
That's probably a lot like
from Detroit Mercy from 2018 to 2023.
Yeah, I would have. That's a lot like the NCAA career passing leaders, where it's a lot of obscure guys.
Colt Brennan.
Yeah.
Antoine Davis, Freeman Williams, Lionel Simmons from LaSalle.
Oh yeah, he ended up being like a, he had an NBA career. He was a Clipper or a King.
I wouldn't have picked him as the number 5 all-time leading scorer in NCAA history.
Me neither.
On top of Alonzo Ford from Mississippi Valley State.
Jerry Rice University.
Picked by the Sixers. Averaged 29 points a game. For whoever the Mississippi Valley State team is, the Delta Devils.
That's a good name.
I guess. But I will attempt to do better on next week's show, because that was a bad showing, I think.
Well, and I think I would have struggled with that too. Like I wouldn't have thought Corliss Williamson. I would have gone Walton. I would have gone Kareem. I would have gone a lot of guys like pre-2000, to be honest, when guys stayed 4 years.
Yeah. Well, I figured it wasn't going to be you can go out and score 200 points in a game, lose, and you're not on the list.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at the kid from BYU, who went out, dropped 35, but lost in the first round.
You get one shot at it. And if you only play a year or two, what do you get? You have 100 points in a tournament? So
yeah.
Leitner, is that one of those, like, you talk about unbreakable records. Leitner's points in a career for a tournament might be up there.
Yeah, just with the games, the way the game's played now.
It is.
If Hansborough wasn't going to do it, he was like maybe one of the
Multiple
last
runs.
like high-profile player of the year, multiple-year guys to stay for 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. It is it's about that time. So
yeah,
I had a good time.
Miami on here. Filling our viewers in on the happenings.
Because that's where you go for your NCAA tournament live. You come to Soup and Meatballs, not to CVS. So I will turn on CVS. I think I'm going to the park with my daughter because I think it's a nice day out. So have a good one. Thanks for tuning in with us. That's Soup by Me.